First station, Jesus is condemned to death. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you.
Because by your miracles,
following his capture in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was taken to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor at the time. Pilate questioned him thoroughly, but could not find any fault with him. Pilate was left contemplating his judgment of Jesus, when his wife told him, "Have nothing to do with that innocent man, for today I have suffered a great deal because of the dream about him." Perhaps Pilate found himself in a dilemma. On one hand, the chief priests and rulers wanted Jesus dead, and on the other, his wife was pleading with him to not get involved with Jesus' case. Pilate had still found no reason to execute Jesus when he remembered that, as was the custom at Passover, he was obliged to release a prisoner. He brought forward Barabbas, a prisoner who was charged for rioting and murder, and asked the assembled crowd,
who do you want me to release for you? Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas!
Pilate was disturbed at the response. It was not what he expected. He asked them a second time,
which of the two do you want me to release to you?
The crowd cried,
Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas!
And what do I do to Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
Pilate asked,
Why? What evil has he done?
but they shouted all the more.
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
So when Pilate saw he could do nothing, but rather a riot was beginning, he took some water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying,
I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves.
So he released Barabbas for them and handed Jesus over to be crucified.
I see you, Jesus, standing before Pilate and the crowd. They are asked 3 times to decide your fate, and each time they decide against you. Today, we are horrified at so great an injustice. We don't want to be part of it. But we forget all those times when we ourselves were ready to save Barabbas over you. All those times when our ears were deaf to the voice of goodness, when we preferred not to see the injustice all around us. In that crowded square, it would have been enough for a single heart to hesitate, for a single voice to be raised against 1,000 voices of evil. Whenever life sets before us a decision to be made, let us be reminded of that square and that mistake. I ask you, Lord, keep watch over our decisions, bring them clarity by your light, allow our hearts to hesitate, and command our voices to speak out. Amen.
Second station. Jesus carries his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. The governor's soldiers took Jesus, stripped him of his clothes, and wrapped him in a purple cloak. They thrust a reed in his hand, fixed a crown of thorns on his head, and then dropping on their knees, they began to mock him by saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" They spat at him, and then took hold of the reed and kept striking him on the head. Then on his back, torn by scourging, the rough wood of the cross was loaded. Jesus received it, with meekness and a sense of acceptance.
I see you, Jesus, crowned with thorns as you receive your cross. They burden you with its wood, heavy and rough. Yet you do not rebel. You do not reject that unjust and humiliating instrument of torture. Instead, you take it up and begin to walk, carrying it on your shoulders. How many times have I rebelled in anger against burdens I have received, viewing them as unheavy or unjust? That is not your way. Your way is humility. I ask you, Lord, that in the light of your cross, the symbol of our faith, we may accept our sufferings and, enlightened by your love, embrace our own crosses. Give us the grace to look back on the story of our lives and to rediscover your love for us. Amen. Third station. Jesus falls for the first time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Look at how Jesus is stumbling around, struggling just to stand. The cross is crushing his shoulder, and the sharp stones in the road cut his bare feet. All around him, people are shouting and pushing, and the Roman soldiers, who have been ordered to crucify him, want him to hurry. Jesus tries as hard as he can to move faster, but he stumbles and falls.
I see you, Jesus, making your way to Calvary, bearing the weight of our sins. I see you fall, hands and knees on the ground, in pain. It seems to me that as God, you would have carried your cross without faltering, but you did not. You were not ashamed to fall, to admit the cross was heavy. In the world, I expect everyone to be strong, yet I am weak and I am ashamed to admit my failure in anything. If the Father allows failure in my life, just as He allowed you to fall, then I must know there is good in that failure. I must not concentrate on the eyes of others as they rest upon me in my faults. Rather, I must reach up to touch that invisible hand ever at my side. I ask you, Lord, help us raise our heads to see the glory that is to come, rather than the misery of the present moment. Look upon all those whom the world considers weak and lowly, and give them the courage to be more concerned as to how they stand before you, rather than those around them. Amen. Fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Look at that lady reaching out to Jesus from the crowd. She is his mother, Mary. She comes close and her face is full of tears. Tears are on Jesus' cheeks too. You can tell how much they love each other. Look at Jesus. Although this man is the Son of God and needs nothing, he still follows the Father's command to honor his mother. Look at Mary. Imagine the pain she must feel. She has watched her son grow, and now she must watch him suffer as he walks to his death. But Mary is not allowed to stay and say kind and loving words to him.
I see you, Jesus, as you meet your mother. It is a great sorrow to realize your pain caused Mary so much grief. When you glanced at each other in unutterable suffering, what gave you both the courage to carry on without the least alleviation, without anger at such injustice? Did every moment of that short encounter feel like an eternity? As I see so much suffering in the world, there are times I think it is all hopeless. There is an element of weariness in my prayers that says, I'll pray, but what good will it do? The sick grow sicker and the hungry starve. Today, I think of that glance between you and Mary. The glance that said, let us give this misery to the Father for the salvation of souls. It is worth it all. I ask you, Lord, help us to always look to the example of Mary, who accepted the death of her Son as a great mystery of salvation. Help us to act with our gaze fixed on the hope of the resurrection, conscious that we are never alone or abandoned by Jesus or Mary.
With my every breath.
Fifth station. Simon of Cyrene helps Jesus to carry his cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Jesus is becoming very tired, and the centurions are getting impatient. They pull a man from the crowd to help Jesus carry the cross. This is Simon of Cyrene. He was on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the Passover feast, when he was stopped and told to help carry Jesus' cross. At first, Simon did not like having to help Jesus. He thinks, why must I help this man? Who is he that the crowd so hates him? He has these doubts and questions because Simon does not know Jesus. But later, when he found out who Jesus was, he was proud that he had helped to carry the cross.
I see you, Jesus, crushed beneath the weight of the cross. I see that you can't do it alone. Your tormentors enlist Simon of Cyrene to help you carry your cross. Your humility is beyond me. Your power upheld the whole universe, and yet you permit one of your creatures to help you carry a cross. I imagine Simon was reluctant to take part in your shame. He had no idea that his name would go down in history and eternity as the one who helped his God in need. Is it not so with me, dear Jesus? Even when I reluctantly carry my cross as Simon did, it benefits my soul. I ask you, Lord, give each of us the courage to be like Simon of Cyrene. May each of us be sufficiently humble and strong enough to take up the crosses of those whom we meet. Grant that when we feel alone, we may recognize on our journey a Simon of Cyrene who will halt and help to bear our burden. Amen. Sixth station. Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Jesus' face, tortured and covered with blood and sweat, moves the heart of a woman in the crowd. Her name is Veronica, a poor Jewish woman who sees the love in these men's face. She has pushed her way through the crowd to get to Jesus. That was a brave thing to do, with all those rough people around to scare her. But she does not think of them. She thinks only of how she wants to give Jesus a handkerchief to wipe his face. When Jesus gives it back to her, there is an image of his face. It was Jesus' way of thanking her.
I see you, Jesus, wretched and barely recognizable. You walk, faltering to your death, your face bleeding and disfigured. My Jesus, where are all the hundreds of people whose bodies and souls were healed by you? Where are they when you need someone to give you the least sign of comfort? Veronica sees your pain, steps out of the crowd, and wants to help. They do not want to let her pass. There are so many of them, and they are armed. But to her, none of that matters. She is determined to reach you, and for a moment she manages to touch you, caressing you with her veil. I must admit, I have been among those who were afraid to know you, rather than like Veronica. She did not care if the whole world knew she loved you. She did not care if she had to go against the crowd to do so. I ask you, Jesus, give me the courage to witness to and spread your word, to tell all people of your love for them. Imprint your divine image upon my soul, and let me bear a perfect resemblance to to your loving Spirit. Amen.
Your blood ran down. Your blood ran down. Your blood ran down. Your blood ran down. From your head down your face, from your hands to your feet. Your blood ran down. Your blood ran down. Your blood ran down for me.
Seventh station. Jesus falls for the second time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Look at how hard it is for Jesus to walk. He feels weak and shaky. He has had nothing to eat or drink, and he hurts all over. But the soldiers won't let him stop and rest. They keep pushing him to walk faster. He tries, but again he falls on the dirty road.
I see you, Jesus, fall once more before my eyes. By falling again, you show me that you are a man, a true man. And yet, in your frailty, you get up again, more resolute than before. You do not get up with pride or with love. In this moment, you show yourself close to us with our troubles, our weaknesses, the sweat of our brow. But you have the strength to go forward. You are not afraid of the difficulties that lie ahead. And you know that at the end of your struggle, there is heaven. You get up precisely to go there, to open before us the gates of your kingdom. I ask you, Lord, grant that we may be ready to get up after falling, that we may learn from our failures. Remind us that when it is our turn to make mistakes and fall, if we stay with you and hold fast to your hand, we can learn to get up again. Amen. Eighth station. Jesus meets the women of Jerusalem. We adore you, Christ, and we praise you. Look at the women of Jerusalem who are standing at the corner of the street where Jesus is passing. When Jesus draws near, they fall to their knees, sobbing and weeping for him. They feel sorry for him and say loving words to him. They weep because they have been touched by the immense love and compassion of Jesus. Jesus has never given them worldly goods, but he offered his love, his mercy, his hope, and now his life. The women feel overwhelming pity and sorrow for Jesus, but he tells them, weep not for me, but for yourselves, for your children.
I see you and hear you, Jesus, as you speak to the women whom you meet on your way to your death. I am amazed at your compassion for others in your time of need. When I suffer, I have a tendency to think only of myself, but you forget yourself completely. When you saw the holy women weeping over your torments, you consoled them and taught them to look deeper into your passion. You wanted them to understand that the real evil to cry over was the rejection you suffered from the chosen people. To be so close to God made man and miss him completely was the real crime. My Jesus, I fear I do the same when I take out the splinter in my brother's eye and forget the beam in my own. It is such a gift, this gift of faith, but I often miss the many disguises you take upon yourself and see only people, circumstances, and human events, not the loving hand of the Father guiding all things. I ask you, Lord, help us to recognize your presence in our daily lives. Amen. Ninth station. Jesus falls a third time. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Look at Jesus now. He is walking slower and slower. He's been nearly beaten to death and has fallen twice already. The soldiers wish he would hurry. They are afraid that all the excited people watching Jesus and yelling at him may cause a riot. Jesus is packed in so close, he can hardly breathe. He takes several more steps and then he falls down on the dirty street.
I see you, Jesus, as you fall for the third time. Even with the help of Simon, you fall again. Were you telling me that there are many times in my life that I will fall again and again despite the help of friends and loved ones? There are times when the crosses you permit in my life are more than I can bear. It is as if all the sufferings of a lifetime are suddenly compressed into the present moment that is more than I can stand. Though it grieves my heart to see you so weak and helpless, it is a comfort to my soul to know that you understand my sufferings from your own experience. Your love for me made you want to experience every kind of pain just so I could have someone to look to, for example, encourage. There are many people who are sorely tired in body and soul with weaknesses who try and fall again and again. And as you go through the humiliation of this third fall, give them the courage and perseverance to take up their cross and follow you. Amen.
Crucify my Lord.
Jesus' clothes are taken away. We adore you, Christ, and we praise you. They bring Jesus to a place called Golgotha, the place of the skull. They pull his clothes off him, and soldiers cast lots for his blood-stained possession. Jesus is left naked to the world. Love has stripped him everything.
I see you, Jesus, as I have never seen you before. They have stripped you of your garments and are casting dice for them. You stand there on that windy hill, shivering from the cold and trembling from fatigue. In the eyes of these men, you have lost the last shred of your remaining dignity, your one possession on this journey of suffering. Yet, there is something we often forget about dignity. It is found beneath your skin. It is part of you, and it will always be with you. All the more at this moment, in this nakedness. I see you, and I understand the grandeur and the splendor of your dignity, the dignity of every man, which no one will be able to erase. I ask you, Lord, grant that all of us may acknowledge the dignity belonging to us, even when we find ourselves naked and alone before others. Grant that we may always see the dignity of others respected and defended. Amen. Eleventh station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. Now the cross is laid upon the ground, and Jesus is stretched upon his bed of death. Blows are struck. Nails pierce flesh. And blood gushes through. Jesus was lifted up for all to see. The inscription of the charges against him above reads, "The King of the Jews." The message was there for all to see. True love entails sacrifice. Without sacrifice, you have not truly loved.
I see you, Jesus, stripped of everything. They want to punish you, an innocent person, by nailing you to the wood of the cross. What would I have done in your place? You had the strength to bear the weight of the cross, to be met with disbelief, to be condemned for your provocative words. Today, we can barely swallow a critical comment as if every word was meant to hurt us. You did not stop even before death. You knew your mission, and you put your trust in your Father. Today, we are so conditioned by everything that circulates on the web. There are times when I doubt even my own words, but your words are different. They are powerful in your weakness. I look at your wounds and I realize now that I would not have had your strength. I ask you, Lord, that in the face of good, I may be ready to recognize it. That in the face of injustice, I may find the courage to act differently. Grant that I may be set free from all the fears that like nails immobilize me and keep me far from the life you have desired and prepared for me. Amen. Twelfth station. Jesus dies on the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. For 3 hours, Jesus hung upon his pierced hands. His blood ran down his body in his hours of agony. The curtain in the temple was torn, and a great darkness had gathered over the land. In the midst of excruciating suffering, he pardoned his murderers, given heaven to the good thief, and committed his blessed mother to his beloved disciples' care. Then, looking up to heaven, he cried out, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. And having said this, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
I see you, Jesus, but this time I would rather not see you. You are dying. You are beautiful to behold when you spoke to the crowds, but now all that has come to an end. I do not want to see that end. All too often I have averted my gaze. I have become almost accustomed to flee pain and death. Instead, you remain there on the cross. You await us with open arms. This is a great mystery, Jesus. You love us by dying, by suffering abandonment, by bestowing your Spirit, by doing the Father's will. You remain on the cross, and that is all. It is there that you loved us as we truly are, truly and inevitably. I ask you, Lord, to open my eyes to see you in suffering and in death. Upset my complacency by your cross. Shake off my drowsiness and challenge me always to fight for your truth. Amen.
The body of Jesus is taken down from the cross. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. When evening had come on the day of preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea, a respected member of council, went boldly to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Pilate wondered if Jesus was really dead, so he summoned the centurion and asked him to check whether Jesus had been dead for some time. The centurion pierced the body of Jesus to make sure he was really dead. Pilate learned from the centurion that Jesus was dead, so he granted his body to Joseph. It was a poor, tortured body that was unfastened from the cross and placed in the arms of Mary. The blows, the thorns, the lash, the nail, the spear had all left their marks. Truly, he was wounded for our offences and crushed for all our wrongdoings. Once more, the message was loud and clear. True love entails sacrifice. Without sacrifice, you have not truly loved.
I see you, Jesus, being taken down from the cross. It is with deep grief that Mary takes you into her arms and sees all the wounds sin has inflicted upon you. We are once more surrounded by only a few followers. When loneliness and failure cross my path, let me think of this lonely moment and this total failure. Failure in the eyes of men. How wrong they were. How mistaken was their concept of success. The greatest act of love was given in desolation, and the most successful mission accomplished and finished when all seemed lost. Is this not true in my life, dear Jesus? I judge my failures harshly. I demand perfection instead of holiness. My idea of success is for all to end well, according to my liking. I ask you, Lord, give me the grace to see that your doing your will is more important than success. If failure is permitted for my greater good, then teach me how to use it to my advantage. Let not the standards of this world take possession of me, or destroy the good you have set for me. Amen. Station. Jesus is laid in the tomb. We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. On the day of preparation, when the Sabbath was beginning, the women who had come from Galilee, together with Joseph of Arimathea, followed and saw the tomb and how his body was laid. This station was not like the others. If something momentous had not happened, the path we have followed would have been a journey to nowhere. But something of magnanimous proportions happened. The Gospel tells us plainly that he had risen from the dead, that he was not there in the tomb as the woman had anticipated. Love had proved stronger than death. we shall wait until tomorrow to commemorate that reality, the reality of the resurrection which changed the world. Until then, we remain in silence. This silence is not the silence of death, but the silence of what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart conceived. The silence that love, not death, has the last word.
No longer do I see you, Jesus. Now all is dark. When you came into the world, men slept and angels sang. And now, as you leave it, the world is quiet. Long shadows fall from the hills, and the lamps light up Jerusalem, outside homes and within. For whom is all this solitude? Who can sleep on a night like this? The city is filled with the sound of children crying, mothers singing, soldiers making their rounds. The day is dying, and you alone are sleeping. From afar, Joseph of Arimathea followed your steps, and now, with quiet steps, he withdraws you from the stares of the indignant and malicious. A sheet enfolds you in the chill of death and dries your blood, sweat, and tears. Dear Jesus, in this silence you remind us of how very important our lives are. Will we ever learn the lesson of humility that makes us content with who we are, where we are, and what we are? I ask you, Lord, who revealed yourself not in glory, but in the quiet